welcome back to another episode of No Waco. This is your host, Debbie. Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. I'm your host, Debbie, and today we have some very special guests here in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Jaja, Chen, and I am one of the co-owners of Cha Community. We are a boba tea cafe here in downtown Waco, and I'm so excited to be here.
Yay!
I'm Jamie Baesa. I am with Designs with Jamie, and I'm also a teacher by day. This is my first podcast appearance, so I'm really excited.
I've only been egging you on for like 3 years to get you on the podcast. I'm so glad to have you guys here today. We are here because we have an exciting event coming up. Go ahead and tell me about this event.
Yeah, so on April 29th, we're going to have our second BIPOC market, and this one is specifically geared toward the spring. BIPOC specifically stands for Black, Indigenous People of Color, and so we're featuring BIPOC specific small businesses, artisans, and it'll be at Cha Community in our downtown Waco shop.
Yes, and I totally forgot, but one of the first questions I always ask is, what brought you to Waco, or are you Waco natives?
Yeah, so I came to Waco originally for Baylor University,
Whoop, whoop.
And then once I graduated, I went to grad school, found a job, eventually got married, so it's just coming on 10 years now. It just time just flies like that, and here we are. But it's been really fun staying in Waco as a young adult and doing my own thing now, especially being in small business, seeing the community in Waco. That's very different from like the Baylor bubble, so it's been really great staying here now. I have a husband, I have a dog, and we're just working out here, and we really love it.
Yeah, and how long have you been here in Waco?
So I've been in Waco since 2011.
Wow.
So quite a while now.
I
know, more than a decade. But I came originally to study in undergrad at Baylor as well. And then I went on to continue with my master's of social work. And so I practiced for a few years in local nonprofit settings. And then from there, I continued with clinical social work. And so I actually am still practicing as a therapist, specifically with trauma therapy. And that's really what led me to continue in Waco is the social work realm, nonprofit work. And then eventually continued with my husband, Devin, and I to start up our small business at that time called Waco Cha, and we've since rebranded to Cha Community, but that was 5 years ago now.
Yeah, wow, that's absolutely fantastic. And I do say food and drink counts as social work, so I still think that's important.
Yeah, well, there's so many ways, right, that we try to infuse social work values into the work we do, and that's part of why we're hoping to continue, growing the spotlight on BIPOC vendors, small businesses, and using our space and our platform to be able to make a difference.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you guys have been in Waco, and again, you were Waco Cha, and you just expanded, and you're planning on moving outside of Waco too, right? Opening another location?
Well, our second location has been open actually for a year now.
Oh my gosh,
it's in downtown
congratulations.
Temple. 30 minutes from here.
Wow. So not too far, just a day's drive. Take a little trip out. Well, it's absolutely fantastic. And again, with this market, what is your goals behind it?
Yeah, so I've been a vendor at many different markets in Waco, and Waco has incredible opportunities for small business owners, but we really wanted to hone in on specifically BIPOC vendors and give people from different backgrounds an opportunity to shine. I think with Waco, it's growing in diversity, but a lot of times there's not a specific place for people of color to come together and to market their goods. And so, we just want to create a really intentional market to give these vendors, a chance to create community together. I think it's really important for vendors to have good support system with other small business owners. So this is a chance for us to network, but then also to kind of share what we have in our stories with the community.
Wow, that's absolutely fantastic.
It was actually something that we've wanted to do for quite a few years at Cha. But then due to the pandemic, right, really had to put that idea on pause. And then I hadn't even told Jamie about the idea of wanting to do a BIPOC market. So she reached out to me.
Oh, that's so cute.
And then was like, hey, what do you think about hosting? And I was like, Hello. I've been thinking about this idea for years, but just never was able to get around to it and have the bandwidth. And so then when she offered to collaborate and co-host, I was like, this is perfect. Such a dream, when it comes to just planning and not, doing it not just by yourself, but with another individual, and especially someone who also is so connected, with artists and small business community here.
Oh, that's so amazing. That's fantastic. So what can we expect at this market?
Yeah, so we hosted our first one actually for the holidays last Christmas. And so Cha community, the space within is where most of the market will be. We'll have a few outdoor vendors, but it'll be packed inside. And it'll just be vendors coming out and showing you what they have. We will also have a lot of special cha drink deals. So I'll let Jaja talk about those. But it's from 11 to 4. So just come hang out for a really good time. Come ready to shop and to support. And one way to support is just to take time to get to know the business owners. I think what made the Christmas market so powerful was that it's not just get your holiday shopping done and go home, but it's really learn about each individual story and get to know more about who they are as a person and create that community and that connection, which is also a part of Cha's missions and visions.
Yeah, I'm really excited because we have a particular focus on either like startup vendors or folks who are handcraft or artisans or artists, right? And so the different kind of creative elements, I'm so excited because there are vendors that you might not usually see in different markets. And then not just that, but we actually have a few folks that are actually part of the Cha team that are actually launching new things.
That's
and
so exciting.
I won't share too much because I don't want to give everything away, but we'll be sharing a lot more in the weeks to come about all the different vendor lineups. And we're also just encouraging folks to come out and support because, part of Cha Community's mission is to bridge cultures and to create community. And we hope to do so within our shop space. And, buy one, get one. Boba tea, who doesn't want that? And so that is going to be something that is offered throughout the entire market.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. That's fantastic. And I heard there's going to be specialty drinks. So tell me about the specialty drinks.
Yeah, so our spring line just launched a few weeks ago. And then specifically different food and drink items include our in-house taro milk tea.
Ooh.
And so we don't use any kind of powder or preservatives. It's made from real taro.
Wow.
And then we also have different Taiwanese street food items, including steamed buns.
The buns are my
favorite.
favorite.
Yeah, and then scallion, green onion pancakes. And so those are different food items that we also serve at our shop now as part of the spring menu.
That's amazing. And honestly, my mouth is already watering. Well, that's great. And we're definitely looking forward to the event this weekend. We'll take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. And now for a word from our sponsors.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
Hi, I'm Caroline.
And we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers, true crime, rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. 911, what's your emergency?
Do you hear that? It's coming from the house.
It's coming from inside the house? Do you mean? Could it be?
The Poltergeist. New from Rogue Media. Two haunted hotties talking about haunted places. Every episode, we dive deep into the darkest places and give you a bit of history.
We're getting spooky in all the right places.
You've gobbled your last ghoul.
Follow along for the craziest and spookiest stories with Debbie's Dark Tourism. The Stanley Hotel,
Winchester House,
the Alamo,
Hotel Monte Vista,
and more spooky places. Find us at _Poltergals.
Poltergals. Look over your shoulder. It's us, the Poltergals.
Wherever you consume the podcast, you can find us there.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. You can find us on Instagram at bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
And now, back to the episode. All right, and we're back. So we're just talking about the event that's happening and all the things we can expect. One of the things I love to ask is, what are you looking forward to most about this event?
I think one thing Jaja mentioned is we're going to have a lot of new vendors come out. And I think with setting up at a market, some people might not realize how challenging it can be, especially to do your first one. You have to get set up display, you have to pay a vendor fee, a lot of times you have to have a tent and all these things. There's a sales system. So with this market, our goal is also to make it really accessible to people, so that if they've never done a market before, it's an easy platform to kind of step in for the first time. So I made a ton of new friends last time with new vendors, and this time I'm happy to say we have a lot of returning ones, but also a whole lot of new ones. So I'm really excited to make new friends. I'm sure I'm going to spend a lot of money looking at people's stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. And just more than just a market, it's going to be a great time to build community together.
Yeah, I think I'm particularly excited because I mentioned before, right, we have a few team members that are launching their new small business and their artisan kind of side hustle. And, that's something that I really had kind of envisioned for us as a small business to be able to make a difference in our own team through mentorship or even just inspiring folks to launch their own creative visions, right? And so that's something that I'm super proud of and excited to see because, we started at a market as well. We started at the Waco Downtown Farmers Market, and it can be so vulnerable, to put your dreams, your ideas out there. And that first day, you're just all the insecurities, all the vulnerability, and the anxiety, the anticipation, excitement. And so I'm just so excited for these folks because, I can remember that moment, 5 years ago when we first launched and to have been given the opportunity in different markets to showcase our goods really is what helped us with the support of the community to continue growing over the years. And then now being able to feature other folks.
And give that back. Give it back to the community.
Yes.
It comes full circle. I absolutely love that. What is something you guys would like to see more of in Waco too?
I think kind of like Jaja was saying, just with businesses supporting other businesses. Y'all might not know this, but Designs with Jamie actually started when I worked at Chaw many years ago, which is crazy. You said 5
Again,
years.
full circle moment.
It really is. And, back then it just started as hey, help us design a couple of t-shirts or menus or things. And then now I have a full-blown thing that I'm running. And now we get to co-host, which is really sweet. But one thing I really love about Waco is there's so many people who truly believe in community over competition. And one of my good friends always says a rising tide lifts all boats. And so I just want that to continue in Waco. I think during the pandemic, we saw a lot of support for small businesses. For sure. And now that times are kind of coming out, there's a lot of other challenges that people are facing economically and with inflation and all these things. So just for the small businesses in town and for the locals to continue really supporting each other during this time.
Yeah. I think something that I hope to see as well alongside the continued support of small business community in particular is also seeing an increased understanding and knowledge of Asian culture in particular in Waco, especially because at this point, we'll see what the future census says. There's about 2% Asians in Waco. And so even though we're a smaller population, my hope is that there can be greater understanding of just the immense diaspora and diversity of the diaspora of the Asian cultures. And so part of what we're doing outside of CHA is working with other Asian leaders to co-create an Asian Leaders Network. And that is something we're doing not only to create community amongst the Asian leaders and small business owners and folks in different sectors, but to also help to create more gathering opportunities too for people outside of the Asian background, to be able to interact and really get to know Asian leaders in different sectors and to see more representation in that realm.
And I know you kind of already touched on this, but what has it been like being a POC business owner here in Waco? Like, what have your experiences kind of given you about that?
Do you want to start on this?
Yeah,
there's a whole topic we can uncover.
There's so many layers, right? I think originally when we started, there was a lot of support, but there was a lot of challenge too, because doing boba tea, there required a lot of education up front, especially about a drink that might not be as familiar to a lot of people, even though it is immensely popular throughout the world, right? And having to do a lot of kind of upfront education about Taiwanese culture, about boba tea. And so then it wasn't always receptive to everyone in the sense of, I think there was quite a lot of naysayers making comments like, okay, no one's going to support boba tea in Waco, Texas, right? Or just the critics on the outside that can look in and be like, why would you do that here? But I think despite the doubts or self-doubts from even internally, we launched in 2018 and just continued growing and growing. And I think what really keeps me going, despite, all of that, is knowing that, there's so many people of all different backgrounds in Waco that really are excited, for more vibrant and diverse offerings and desiring to see more inclusion in small business. And that's something we have seen, over and over, despite the fact that, there might still be a lot less Asians in particular in Waco. But, we've had so much support from folks from all different kind of backgrounds. And so that's been super encouraging.
And on your side as well?
Yeah, I feel lucky because I came into this through Waco Cha originally. So I've always had good support through Jaja and Devin, and now through the Asian Leadership Network. Just having a support community with people who are like-minded and just able to talk to you about the similar challenges they have, but also the successes they have, is really a huge blessing. And I think for me, one of my challenges was trying to figure out how to bring in my culture and background into the artwork that I create, because as an artist, there's always the tension of making things you love, but also making things that are relevant to people. And if you don't make any money, like you can't have a business. And so there's always this like fine line to balance. And at the very beginning, I didn't really try to bring my culture in very much at all. Just kind of made things that I thought would resonate with people. But through the Asian Leaders Network, actually, more recently this year, I've had a lot of people challenge me and encourage me, like, you need to bring the fullness of yourself to the table, not just only focus on Asian stuff, but also not ignore either.
Having authenticity.
Right, like, people want to know who you are. If it's designs with Jamie, like, who is Jamie? And I'm like, I am Asian. Like, there's no going around that. So, and I mean, I grew up overseas living in Taiwan for a long time. So a lot of that time in my life really influences who I am now. So just bringing parts of myself that I can share, and it's not like a this way is the best or this way is better, but this is just part of my story. And I found people are really receptive to that. People want to know me as a person, just as I seek to know others as I'm building relationship with them. So it's been a journey for sure, and I'm continuing to try to navigate that. But I am thankful because people are really open when you present it in a way of, hey, this is just my story I want to share with you and I want to invite you into. So
I mean, kind of like what I was saying earlier, right? So vulnerable, like in art and business, to put yourself yourself, like your authentic self within the work that you're sharing. But I think that's what makes it worth it in the end, in the sense of like, okay, where you don't have to hide parts of who you are, you know, and to really be able to celebrate all of that. That's what keeps me going, the idea of, okay, creating spaces for folks to be able to continue shining and being proud of their culture and their roots, as opposed to diminishing that.
Yeah. I love that. And I know you guys have already kind of touched on this and given some great recommendations, but is there anybody in the community that you guys would like to shout out? I know you already said the Asian Leaders Network. Is there anybody else you would like to shout out that's helped you along this journey?
Yeah, I would like to shout out the Hispanic Leaders Network and the folks over at the Hispanic Chamber, because there is no Asian chamber in Waco, and they have been huge in embracing us from day one at our business when we were just a little pop-up tent, and really providing so much support when it came to even pushing us to start Asian Leaders Network, or to continue doing things like the BIPOC market and helping to promote that.
Yeah, one friend I want to shout out is Danielle Hale of Don't Eat Beads. She's the
Yay,
best.
I love you.
When anyone hears her name, they're just like, she's the best. But even when we were starting to plan this, she texted me as soon as she heard about it and was like, I am so glad you guys are doing a BIPOC-specific market. It wasn't like a, hey, how come it's only BIPOC? You know, it was very supportive. She was really proud of us. And she is one of those people that is always there to pitch in for other small businesses any way that she can help them. She has like sold my stuff at so many different things just because she's the best. So love you, Danielle.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. One of the things I also love to ask is, what is some advice you would give to somebody wanting to start their own business, or advice for someone who's just getting started doing art or making a product or just getting involved in the community?
Yeah, I would say like really consider you know, the why or the story behind why you want to do what you're wanting to do.
That authenticity.
Kind of going back to that idea of really not just only focusing on the profits or the product itself and what you're offering, you know, physically or as a service or product, right? But also on the values or the story behind that. And with that really is what can help you to shine in your startup or in your small business or as an artist, because folks really want to know the story behind the items or the creations. And that really is what connects with people.
I love that.
Yeah, and I would say just start with something.
That's that's the big thing.
A lot of people have decision paralysis, and I mean, I am high perfectionist, so I'm like, if I can't do it right, and if it's not going to be perfect and amazing the first time, I'm not going to do it at all. But that's a terrible attitude to have, and you'll never get anywhere. So just start. I mean, Jaja and Devin, they started by just inviting people to their house for tea. It wasn't boba. It wasn't like selling all these things at the market, but it really just started in their homes.
Like seriously, that's how it started.
Yeah, for me, it started like I would just hand make cards for my friends, and you know, eventually it goes from there. So don't be scared. Just start and see where it goes. And you know, if it doesn't work out, that is perfectly fine. You learned something from the experience you had, but don't let the fear of beginning keep you from trying.
Ooh, wise words. Well, that's great. And we're so excited for this market. And again, giving this people the opportunity to just start and in such a safe and secure environment. It's so important to create those spaces, especially here in Waco where it's very much needed. Go ahead and share all of the social media where we can find more information all about the event just one more time so people know.
Yeah, you can find me at Designs with Jamie on Instagram or also on Facebook.
And we're on Cha Community, at Cha_community on Instagram and also Facebook. The BIPOC market in particular does have a Facebook event as well. And then we'll be sharing a lot more information on both of our Instagram and Facebook platforms when it comes to vendors and other things to expect at the event.
Yay, we're so excited. Is there anything else you guys just want to share with our listeners today?
Yeah, just wanted to share specifically. Once again, it's on Saturday, April 29th, and that's going to be 11 to 4 at Cha Community, 1001 Franklin Avenue, downtown Waco.
And I will say, the earlier you come, the shorter the line will be. The last market, the line was very long from beginning of event to the end. Don't let it scare you off. I mean, buy one, get one free only happens twice a year.
Yeah, seriously, like this is the way we
deal.
give back, you know, supporting the event.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys again for your time. It was a pleasure having you guys here. I'm so glad to have you on the show.
Thanks so much for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Find us everywhere on all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com, and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.